Good luck with you fishing. Now, welcome back to Live Life Explorer. I'm out on my own today, paddling in my backyard down the Thames River, North Thames River. I checked the flow rates. The river actually is already kind of too low to go down this section, but we will see how far we can get without having to get out and walk. Looks like I'm going to be walking already. There we go. All right. Let's start putting in. Yeah, there's no easy way down the first section. I just hope you don't have to scooch too much. Looks like I'll be scooching a bit. I think it would have been better off down the channel over there, actually. Which is normally the way we go here. Once it gets me this little bit here, it'll be fine now. First kilometer on the river, you're basically walking or scooching, depends on your preference. I got my old town heron today, so it's been with me for 10 years. It's seen lots of rivers, and it's got lots of scratches on it, so I'm not bothered if it gets scratched. At the section before you get to the bridge, you've got a nice stretch of river, and then it's always nice to paddle on Pittock as long as you don't mind a little bit of wind. Good news is it's not very windy today, so I'm hoping that we will get through this with very little effort. Again, the first little bit is going to be the most challenging because we do have a few of these little shallow sections. So if you are attempting this section of river and you're working on scratching your canoe, come up from the lake, don't come down from the lake. It's actually a nice paddle from the lake. Come up there. We've come up from Roth Park plenty of times. And you get to about within a kilometer of Innerkip, and then you have to decide if you want to walk or not. I don't normally come up any further than that, but if I'm going downstream, you can normally scooch through the shallow stuff. Although I did come through here one time with a friend, and we had to get up and walk a couple of times. I think I'm going to be okay today, though. The other thing you have to be careful of on this river is downed trees. So, actually, that channel on the right is a better channel. This side was blocked a couple of years ago when we came down. So the last couple of times I've come down the river, I've come down on the right hand side of the channel. This is the first time I've ever tried to get down this section. I think going down the right channel is still a better way to go. Oh well. You don't mind getting your hands wet? All good. And I think that's actually the worst of it. Yeah, normally I come down, there's a little channel on the right here. Normally I come down this little channel on the right. Usually get pretty good flow in here. That looks pretty shallow today though. Again, don't come down this stretch of river if you're worried about scratching your kayak. That's what the old town's for. I wouldn't bring my my Delta down here, that's for sure. Although the neckies come down here a few times. And I'm coming down with somebody else. That's the worst of it. This is normally as far upstream as you can get. If you start from Pittock, or even at the bridge, Regional Road 4, there's a spot to put in there. So if you start at the bridge at Regional Road 4, you can get all the way up to here normally. After that, there's no point in trying to go any further. It's got to come downstream. But we've now gone through the worst of it. It's quite a nice little river from there. Ooh. Alright, we're playing around with the Neo too, and it definitely does not like water. I tried my original Neo in the kayak. That lasted a grand total of about 5 seconds. This thing doesn't seem to like to be over water either. I'm not gonna put up much longer. It doesn't seem to like this, so. That was a little stressful. Yeah, as soon as I got into the grass, it was fine. It kind of knew what its height was, and it just basically adjusted accordingly and allowed me to land. So I did learn something anyway. If you want to get the damn thing to land, it doesn't work when you're over water. You gotta go get close to land, and then it will be all right. I'm not sure I'd use my drone fast flowing river though. That was precarious enough as it is, trying to fly that thing on a calm river like the Thames. There you go. Experiment somewhat successful. Yeah, so it's nice and deep all the way up to here.
Can I ask you something? Are you wasting my time? You're 20-something, and I'm out of my mind. I'm feeling seasick every time that you leave. I hope you know that these drugs ain't for free. Still I run hills for you. You feel me? Nothing means something with you. Really?
Came through here 2 years ago in July, and this section was blocked. So I hiked through a tree. This is what's left of that tree. Amazingly, part of it's still alive. So when I put in from the back of my house down to Roth Park, this is a 2-hour paddle for me. If you put in at Roth Park and you paddle upstream as far as you can get, you can actually go about an hour and a half from Roth Park all the way up, and then turn around and come back. It gets shallow as you get closer to Innerkip, so you can get out and have a bit of a break. Or if you put in at the bridge, you can go an hour up, hour back. If you want to come for a 2-hour paddle, then that's a nice paddle from the bridge up and back down again. I wouldn't recommend coming in from where I put in today. There's very few times in the year you can get down the river from there. As long as you don't want to walk in for the first 300 or 400 yards, then you'll be alright the rest of the way. But for the first kilometer, you're going to get out any later than May. I haven't had to get out yet though. The river's a lot wider and deeper now because of the dam. Even though we're on the opposite side, I guess the east side of the bridge. The Regional Road 4 bridge. This is all nice and deep here. This time of year, in the winter though, they actually lower the lake. Old Town Heron 11XT. This is actually the boat that started my Midlife Explorer YouTube channel. I don't paddle it much anymore because I would rather paddle my Dagger. That's a nice boat to paddle. Even the Necky's a nice boat to paddle compared to this. But when you're heading down a tight little river like this and you're crashing into things and scraping the bottom and stuff, this river and the Nith are good rivers for this boat. I'm going to see if I can get further down the Thames River this year, actually. I've never actually paddled it south of Pittock. So I think if we get some rain, because you need some rain south of Pittock.
All the good things was it better than I ever thought it was. Now I want more of love. I'll let you believe I casually lie, though I've never lied to you. I never do. Believe I'm the only one carrying the deepest scars. This is getting old, getting so old, getting so old. Believe I'm the only problem, though you never owned up to yours. 'Cause there's God.
This is the part where you wish I had one of my bigger boats. Now that we're getting to the lake. Because they track better than this. They're also narrower, so they require a little less effort to keep them going. This is a very stable boat, good for beginners. we're on the Piddock Lake. You can actually put into this lake over on the left hand side over here. There's actually a really good spot to drop your kayak if you want to paddle up or down the lake. I like coming in at Roth Park, which is the other end of the lake. Or you could actually come in through the conservation area as well. Piddock Conservation Area has an area where you can put your kayaks in as well. So good spot in summertime. Can get a little busy, but we get some boat traffic on it, especially on the weekends. We're very lucky to have this 5 kilometers downriver from where I live. If you look straight ahead, there's a point that sticks out here on the, I guess this would be the east side of Piddock Lake. This is all conservation, and along this side, conservation areas stretch just about here. This section actually is a hike-in, paddle-in section. There's a campground just up at that point. You could put in, 3 kilometers down the lake and paddle up to your campsite and then spend your weekend paddling on the lake. You may want to make note of the fact that we do have a train that runs right behind us here. It's not bad on the weekends, we only get a couple of trains overnight, but you are very close to a railroad line here. Otherwise, good spot, good experience. And one of the places that we will stop and have a break if I'm paddling with somebody else. This is our little beer stop here if there's nobody camping. So yeah, you can't drive into this campsite. It's paddle in or hike in only. You do need a permit. You can't just camp there without a permit. I lucked out today. The wind is in my back. You don't normally get that coming down the Piddock. Normally it's in your face. I will take it any day. Much further now. This is all conservation area proper now. Good day for a paddle, I'll tell you. What a gorgeous day. Not too hot. Not much wind though, which is good. Anyway, we're almost to the end of our paddle. You can see the dam just off in the distance there. And we will be pulling out just up on the left-hand side, just before the dam. So it's, I think it's about 10 or 12 kilometer paddle in total. Half of which is the river above the road, and half of which is the lake. If you were asking me what section to do, really I would ask how long you want to spend paddling, because if it's an afternoon, you want to spend 3 or 4 hours, then start at Roth Park and go up as far as you can. Go under the bridge because you keep on going for another 45 minutes. If you want to go out for an hour and a half or 2 hours, then put in at 4th concession, regional road 4. So the other end of Kayak, that's a spot to put in, and then I would paddle upward from there. It's a nicer paddle than going up and down the lake. But you can certainly put in at Roth Park and just go up the lake, up and out and back again. For me, I always like to go downriver because I live in Innerkip, and then I just get somebody to come pick me up. So I will be waiting. I'll have a beer at the end here and kind of wait to get picked up. Anyway, if you made it this far in the video, thanks for watching. Thanks for joining me on our little journey down the South Thames River, from Innerkip to Woodstock, to Roth Park in Woodstock. It's a paddle I do every year. And then throughout the season, I will go upstream a couple of times just to get out of the water. But I really only ever come down from Innerkip once a year, and that's usually in May. Because once you get to the summertime, it's unfortunately it's too low. Now there are exceptions to that, but I've been down the river today, and unfortunately, if you are running higher water there, you've got some issues with blockages that I had to navigate that would be quite treacherous. The river was running pretty fast, so I wouldn't come down if it was running 10 cubic meters per second or faster. Then that doesn't happen very often. You got to get a really good storm. But right now, I'd be careful coming down from Innerkip because there are a couple of spots there where you can get pulled into some strainers. There's no flow right now, so it'll be fine. And thankfully, enough water that I didn't have to walk. But I did have to scoot 3 or 4 times. Anyway, thanks for watching. We're out on the bikes next. And then hopefully in a week or so, I'll be back out on the kayak. I think next paddle is going to be on the Nith River. We haven't been on the Nith for a while. Always checking the weather forecast, waiting for rain. But I think we're going to try and paddle from Ayr down to Silver Bridge because we haven't done that for a couple of years. And I've told Gord, get ready to scooch because much like last year, the rivers were already low. Unfortunately, we are not carrying a lot of water on the rivers into the summertime period, so we might not get to do much of the Nith this year. We might have to stick to the Grand because you can always get down the Grand River. It's usually controlled because there's lots of tour operators on the Grand, but we'll see. Anyway, we're going to attempt to get on the Nith next. But next outing with Gord is going to be a bike ride up the Walter Bean Trail up to Otterbein Park. So we'll see you in the next video. If you like watching the mountain bike videos, if not, we'll see you on the Nith River in a couple of weeks. Thanks for watching.